Station 1, Central Weather Call
Breaking news out of Grand Forks. Apparently, a homeless man has died in his vehicle.
Multiple people froze to death last year in Grand
Forks. He was
Forks.
found frozen to death underneath that railroad.
It was a male who was homeless living in his pickup.
In Grand Forks, we have 122 homeless students in our school district as of last year.
It's real out here. Like, people for real dying.
When Jesus invites his disciples to serve those in need, Jesus says, when you did it to them, you did it to me. A lot of the gospel can be summed up in that short statement. You did it to me.
Didn't tell me you were putting up a tarp. What kind of setup do you two have tonight for your boxes?
Well, Taylor's not sleeping in a box.
No. Just my sleeping bag. I'm gonna be a cocoon. with a tarp.
Yes.
Okay.
She'll be sleeping in between two boxes and having a tarp just
Yeah.
And what about you?
I have half a box.
Okay.
So my feet will be sticking out, and it'll be interesting because there's definitely going to be some rain.
As we've been prepared for Box City, I've been real inspired and edified by the initiative of the students. What I love about Box City, it's not just a way to do your duty in service to the poor, but it's this great way to put yourself in the shoes of someone else and in solidarity with them, to allow that encounter to pierce your heart, so that I desire to encounter and serve Christ, who's hidden in the distress and disguise of the poor.
I'm Maddie Pullen.
And I'm Taylor Sagan.
Well, we're both service chairs. There's another service chair who wasn't able to be in town this weekend. Her name is Emily Sears. And this is just like an event that I have done it in my home parish when I was in high school, and so we thought this would be a cool event to recreate here. So it was with our youth group and stuff, and our youth minister put it on, and she's like, okay, you guys, I want to try something. If I were to do this, if I were to make it so we would raise money for the homeless and then sleep one night in the boxes outside in the middle of October, would you guys do it? And we're like, okay, yeah, we would do it.
There were some ideas floating around in the spring as we were forming this year's student board, and the service chairs, Maddie and Emily and Taylor, this fall really wanted to follow through on that idea.
Maddie brought the idea up last year when all of us new student board members were together, and she's like, I have this great idea. I did Box City when I was in high school, and Emily and I were like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, and this year rolled around, and we followed through with it.
Box City is, our students are getting together. They're going around town looking for cardboard boxes so they can set them up in the Newman Center backyard and spend a night with nothing but the shelter of a cardboard box. As a way to help kick off Box City, I know Sue from Northlands Rescue Mission is coming to give a presentation to the students who are participating, to give them a little bit more idea about what's happening here locally, about ways to volunteer and connect more to their work and serving the needs of the homeless here in Grand Forks.
My name is Sue Sherrick, and I'm the Executive Director at Northlands Rescue Mission, and thanks for having me here today. Back in the day when I was in college, I lived just on the other side here where there used to be a big white house that they tore down, so this is kind of like being back at home. And Newman Center too. This was my church when I was in college, so it's kind of cool to be back. Northlands Rescue Mission is a homeless shelter for men and women. We're downtown. How many of you have ever been there? Okay. We currently have the capacity to serve 150 clients. And right now we have about 52 in-house, which is really high, because we've been helping people get moved into their own homes. In the last 2 years, we have helped over 450 people who were homeless and are now housed. Our goal is to help people who have kind of fallen off the path or don't know what their resources are to get back into life. Because Grand Forks County has the highest metropolitan poverty in the state of North Dakota. We rank right up there with the reservations in terms of poverty, and you wouldn't think it if you looked around this town. But this is a very poor area. There are 2,900 kids in this community eligible for free and reduced lunch. We're currently providing meals every week for 743 of those kids. We have a soup kitchen. Every client gets to eat free morning, noon, and night. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Homelessness is a powerful thing, but it doesn't have to rule somebody's life. We're here to make a difference, and we're here to help change people's lives, to reinstitute hope, to get people to leave all the garbage in their life at the foot of the cross. You know, people come in and they've got 15 layers of stuff on, and they're all hooded up, and their facial hair and their hair's a mess, and they're dirty and smelly. And after you start working with them, the layers come off, they start showering, their posture changes. They look you in the eye and make eye contact with you when you say hi to them in the hallway. And pretty soon, they start the conversation and they say hi. And it's just incredible when you see that humanity starting to blossom in people. And it's so powerful when you see hope restored and life restored in people. And that's the work we do. This might be cool for one night, but imagine doing this day after day. And imagine wondering, where am I going to put that box that it will be safe and it will be dry and it will be out of the elements? And how about all my stuff? Is my stuff going to be safe? Am I going to be victimized there? Are the police going to come and shoo me on? Thank you guys for committing to this tonight, because it would be much more fun to be in front of a fireplace and in your own bed, and you'll find that out as the night goes on, that you'll wish you were somewhere else.
Taylor's not sleeping in a box.
Just my sleeping bag. I'm gonna be a cocoon. With a tarp. With a tarp.
It really does just like humble you, like, wow, like I had all of these things to like keep me warm throughout the night, but I was still cold. Early fall, and I'm freezing.
It was really cold. I was freezing. Thought about heading back to my apartment at certain times.
Why would I not do something that could create empathy with people that I work with on a regular basis? I'm an 8th grade English teacher, student teacher at Valley Middle School, and some of my students in the beginning of the year were labeled as technically homeless. And I feel like doing Box City was a way to create that sort of empathy with my students and understand some of the hardships they go through on a daily basis.
So you can't help but walk by them and see, feel like, Jesus is really sad, but when you actually go through it, it brings a whole new experience of like what they actually have to go through. Because if you don't go through it, you only see like how the media portrays it, or like what you see, you can't really relate until you go through that.
And there's like so many like other things that they have to like carry, like loneliness.
A lot of homeless people are suffering by themselves instead of in communities. I could not imagine going every night from time of business closes to the morning when they open and hoping that you'll have the opportunity to go to the bathroom.
Back at home, like every corner you turn, there's a person begging on the street. A lot of the times they're homeless vets who've been injured, who've got PTSD, stuff like that. Also a lot of like mothers with children who are, I mean, as young as 2 or 3 years old.
I didn't sleep well, but it wasn't that I didn't sleep well, it was that the next day, so Sunday, I didn't take a nap because I wanted to experience the full day just having slept very poorly. And it was so hard to focus. It was so hard to form a coherent sentence and keep my thoughts in line and rolling. And going back to my 8th grade students, thinking about how many of them are exhausted during the day, and not to their own fault, like they stayed up playing video games, but just because they have other stressors in their life, and they don't sleep well, and we expect them to come to school and be a student and be a participating student, and they just can't. And so when I went back to my students, it was more like, how can I meet their needs? How can I meet them where they're at? And work with them to bring them up at least a little bit during the day.
You look throughout Catholic history, you have people like St. Francis of Assisi, his companion, St. Clare, who specifically work with the poor, the homeless, the people in need. I think that's a huge part of Catholicism, is reaching out to those most vulnerable. You see in Matthew 25 what Jesus says about, what you do for these, you do for me.